Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I am Muhammad Hassan Ashraf, the instructor for the Applied Ecology. I am a lecturer of zoology at Faisalabad campus. Our topic of discussion is water pollution. So, what is water pollution? Water pollution can be defined as any physical or chemical change in water that adversely affects the health of humans and other organisms. That is called as the water pollution. Types of water pollutants. Water pollutants are divided into 8 categories particularly on the basis of their generation. The source of their generation is basis of their classification. The first one are the sewage. Second category is the disease causing agents. Next is the sediment pollution. Then inorganic plants and algal nutrients. Then the organic compounds, inorganic chemicals. The seventh one is the radioactive substances, and the last category is the thermal pollution. The first one is sewage or the sewage water. Wastewater from drains or sewers, that is from the toilet, washing machines and showers, that included the sewage. It also includes human waste, soaps and detergents. So in short, the water which comes out from the households or from the homes after their uses, that water is in the sewage. The release of sewage into water causes several pollution problems. First one, it carries disease causing agents. There are some pathogens which comes out from homes along with the sewage water, particularly those which are in the body waste. Those pathogens can easily contaminate the water when comes out with the sewage. It causes enrichment. Enrichment means because it also contains different nutrients which comes from the homes, that leads to the enrichment. It increases biological oxygen demand, and ultimately it can also cause eutrophication. What is the enrichment? The fertilization of a body of water is due to the presence of high levels of plant and algal nutrients such as nitrogen and phosphorus is called as the enrichment. The biological oxygen demand, or it can also be called as the biochemical oxygen demand, is the amount of oxygen microorganisms need to decompose biological waste into carbon dioxide, water and minerals. That amount of oxygen is called as the biochemical oxygen demand. BOD is usually expressed as milligrams of dissolved oxygen per liter of water for a specific number of days at a given temperature. So biological oxygen demand is measured in milligrams of oxygen per liter in a specific time period at a specific temperature. Next definition is of eutrophication. The enrichment of a lake, estuary or slow flowing stream by inorganic plant and algal nutrients such as phosphorus. An enriched body of water is said to be eutrophic. So the excessive presence of the nutrients in the water bodies is called as the eutrophication. This is the excessive enrichment of the water bodies, or the excessive addition of the fertilizers or the nutrients into the water bodies that will leads to the eutrophication. The second type or second category of the pollutants is disease causing agents. Disease causing agents are infectious organisms that cause diseases. They come from the waste of infected individuals. Municipal waste water usually contains many bacteria, viruses, protozoa, parasitic worms, and other infectious agents that cause human or animal diseases. Typhoid, cholera, bacterial dysentery, polio, and infectious hepatitis are some of the more common bacterial or viral diseases transmitted through contaminated food and water. The third one source of the pollutants are the sediment pollution. Sediment pollutants include clay, silt, sand, and gravel. Excessive amounts of suspended soil particles eventually settle out and accumulate on the bottom of a body of water. Sediments comes from erosion of agricultural lands. They can come from the forest soils which are exposed by logging. Logging means the cutting down of the trees. They can come from the degraded stream banks or the overgrazed range lands. Sediments can also come from the strip mines and during the construction. So these are the different sources for the sediment pollution. Effects of sediment pollution. Sediment pollution reduces light penetration in water bodies. It covers aquatic organisms. These sediments brings insoluble toxic pollutants into the water. It fills in waterways. When sediment particles are suspended in the water, they make the water turbid, that is cloudy, which in turn decreases the distance that light penetrates. Turbid water lessens the ability of producers to photosynthesize. These sediments can also carry toxic chemicals with them, and disease causing agents are also transported into water via sediments. So these are different negative impacts of these sediments in the water bodies. Here is the diagram of a stream which is covered, which is having less sediments, and in this picture you can easily see that the sun rays can easily penetrate into the water body, and at the bottom the different producers are present, and the small insects, small consumers, and the large fishes are also present in this lake. So this stream is having a complete food chain, and it is a normal healthy stream. When we compare that previously explained stream with this stream, when that is exposed to the high sediment pollution, then you can see over here the light penetration is reduced, and due to that the producers are removed from the ecosystem or the stream. Once the producers are removed from the system, then definitely the primary consumers and the whole chain is disturbed, and all organisms either die or they migrate from this type of situation. And this contain only the sediments which become settled down over here, and some make the water turbid. So in this mechanism the water become turbid, and the life and the food chain is disturbed severely. The fourth category of the water pollutants are inorganic plant and algal nutrients. These include nitrogen and phosphorus. It stimulates the growth of plant and algae in the water bodies, which is harmful in larger concentration because it causes eutrophication. Sources of inorganic plant and algal nutrients are human and animal wastes, plant residues which either comes with the sewage or from the croplands, atmospheric deposition, fertilizers runoff from agriculture and residential land. The effects of these inorganic plant and algal nutrients are eutrophication and increase BOD, because these nutrients when comes into the body water body, they enhances the growth of algae particularly. When the algae grow beyond the limit, that is called as the algal bloom, it will cover the whole water surface, which reduces the oxygen availability to the living organisms, and they start to deprive of oxygen, and ultimately their death is started. So that will leads to eutrophication, and once the nutrients are increased, then their decomposition is required by different organisms, particularly the decomposers. They need oxygen for the decomposition of these nutrients or waste, but the oxygen, if not available, then the condition become more dangerous, and if the oxygen is available, its continuous supply is required in the water bodies. Organic compounds. These include sugars, amino acids, and oils. The sources of the organic compounds are most of human produced chemicals. Synthetic chemicals include pharmaceuticals, pesticides, solvents, industrial chemicals, and plastics. Some organic compounds seep from landfills into surface water and groundwater. Others, such as pesticides, leach downward through the soil into groundwater or get into surface water via runoff from farms and residences. Some industries dump organic compounds directly into waterways. Sixth category is inorganic compounds. Contaminants that contain element other than carbon. Examples include acids, salts, and heavy metals. The sources of these inorganic compounds are industries, direct industrial exhaust, or the water effluents from different industries directly discharged into the water bodies, which carry these inorganic compounds. Then the mines, irrigation runoff, oil drilling, and urban runoff from storm sewers. Examples include heavy metals like lead and mercury. These are the two inorganic chemicals that sometimes contaminate water and accumulate in the tissues of human and other organisms, and they cause different health effects, particularly they damage the nervous system. Seventh category of the pollutants are the radioactive substances. Radioactive substances contain atoms of unstable isotopes that spontaneously emit radiation. The sources of these radioactive substances are mining and processing of radioactive minerals such as uranium and thorium. Nuclear power plants and the nuclear weapons industry, medical and scientific research facilities also employ them. The effects of radioactive substances are radiations from natural sources, particularly radon, can contaminate groundwater. At high enough concentrations, it can kill. In lower concentrations, it can cause cancer and other illness. The last category of the water pollutants are the thermal pollution. When heated water produced during certain industrial processes is released into waterways, that causes thermal pollution because it increases the normal temperature of the water bodies. Sources of thermal pollution are many industries such as steam generated electric power plants. They use water to remove excessive heat from their operations. Similarly, the power plants which uses the radioactive elements, they also uses water to cool their operating systems. Effects of thermal pollution. Increasing the temperature of a lake, stream, or river leads to several chemical, physical, and biological effects. Chemical reactions, including decomposition of waste, occur faster, depleting the water of oxygen. Moreover, less oxygen dissolves in warm water than in cool water. A fish ventilates its gills more frequently to obtain enough oxygen. At warmer temperature, fishes typically have shorter lifespan and smaller populations. Here are the other categories of the sources of water pollutants. So sources of water pollution are divided into two categories. First one is the point source pollution and other are the known point source pollution. The point source pollution are the water pollution that can be traced to a specific origin. The water pollutants which have a specific origin, for example, a sewage water can be traced by a main severe pipeline which comes out from a home. So the source is a point source. The non-point source pollution are the pollutants that enter bodies of water over large areas rather than being concentrated at a single point of entry. For example, the pesticides or the fertilizers which are applied in the croplands or the fields, they comes with the runoff into the lakes or streams. They are the example of the known point source pollution. Point source pollution discharged into the environment through pipes, sewers or ditches from specific sites such as factories or sewage treatment plants. Point source pollution is relatively easy to control legislatively, but accidents still occur. Known point source pollution, it is also called polluted runoff, is caused by land pollutants that enter bodies of water over large areas rather than at a single point. Known point source pollution occurs when precipitation moves over and through the soil, picking up and carrying away pollutants that eventually are deposited in lakes, rivers, wetlands, groundwater, estuaries, and the ocean. Although known point sources are diffuse, their cumulative effect is often huge. Known point source pollution include agricultural runoffs, mining waste, municipal waste, and construction sediments. In the agricultural runoff, fertilizers, pesticides, livestock waste, and salts from irrigation are included. In the mining waste, main pollutants are the acid mine drainage. And in the municipal waste, inorganic plant and algal nutrients are the main pollutants which comes into the water body. While in the construction, definitely sediments are the main known point pollutants. Three major sources of human-induced water pollution are agriculture, municipalities, which is the domestic activities, and the industries. These are the three major categories on the basis of the anthropogenic sources which causes generation and transportation of different pollutants into the water bodies. Water pollution from agriculture. According to the Environmental Protection Agency (EPA), agriculture is the leading source of water quality impairment of surface waters nationwide. 72% of the water pollution in rivers is attributed to agriculture. Contribute to known point source pollution. The agricultural fertilizer runoff causes water enrichment. Animal waste and plant residues in waterways produces high BODs and high levels of suspended solids as well as water enrichment. Pesticides toxicity is also an effect of the agricultural waste. Soil erosion from fields and rangelands causes sediment pollution in waterways. Municipal water pollution. Municipal water consists of the sewage and the urban runoff. It is also a known point source pollution. The municipal water carries salt from roadways, untreated garbage, animal waste, especially from dogs, construction sediments, and traffic emission via rain that washes pollutants out of the air. It often may contain such contaminants as asbestos, colloids, copper, cyanides, grease, hydrocarbons, lead, motor oil, organic waste, phosphate, sulfuric acid, and zinc. Industrial waste in water. This is the third category of the anthropogenic sources. The different industries causes different type of pollutants. For example, food processing industries, they produce organic wastes that are readily decomposed but have a high BOD. These compounds require high concentration of oxygen for the decomposition. Second one are the pulp and paper industries. They also generate high BOD. They generate the organic compounds which needed high oxygen concentration for the breakdown, and they also cause to produce toxic compounds and sludge. These are the references for this what categories of the water pollution or water pollutants. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.